Hey, and welcome back to Real Housewife Recaps. Today I'm covering Season 12, Episode 12 of Real Housewives of New York. The ladies are back. They're back after a 2-week break, and I'm glad to have them back. And I thought this was a really good episode. So let's get started. Let's get into it. I missed you guys. So for whatever reason, Bravo decided to let the ladies do new mid-season taglines. I've never heard of such a thing, so I'm going to read off each one. And I'm laughing because remember, Lisa Rinna threw a fit to get hers changed, and they wouldn't let her change it. And I think it's hilarious now that they're giving the New York Housewives new taglines mid-season. So here we go. Dorinda's, like a mint in my mouth, I can be a bit fresh. Sonia's, I'm no one's arm candy, I'm the whole bowl of sugar. Ramona, so what if I'm self-involved? Who else should I be involved with? Leah, I'll say sorry for what I've done, but not for who I am. And Luann, I rise above the drama and won't settle for the lower level. So because these were recorded in quarantine, the lights look a little bit weird. The voices sound a little bit off, like the taglines and the talking heads they do to camera. So let's take a look at everybody's setup. So we got Leah here in her apartment, and she's just going for cozy, but her makeup looks beautiful, and I think her lighting is nice. Then we have Ramona in her kitchen. I'm really pissed at Ramona this episode, so I really don't have anything too nice to say about her. Sonia is such a beautiful woman. I don't understand why she overdoes the blush. She looks a little crazy in this talking head here. And speaking of crazy, we have Dorinda. So, look at Dorinda's setup here. That's a lot going on. We got a lot of colors in her color shirt. It's just a lot. We have Luann, and she's in front of, what else? Pictures of herself. Okay, so let's get into this episode. It's the Halloween episode. We got Leah walking into a costume shop. She's on the phone with Rob, who's Kier's dad, her daughter. And she's talking to him because he's going to be her +1 for the party that Luann is throwing. Remember that, of course, Tinsley left. So now it's the rest of the ladies are coming to the party that Luann's throwing. We got Lou and Dorinda meeting Leah at the costume shop. The theme is voodoo, which is funny and comes into play in a little bit. So they're trying to find outfits to wear. Dorinda talks about how pissed she is at Ramona and that she was Ramona-sized yesterday. Ramona is planning her birthday party, and Dorinda thinks it should be a joint party, and Ramona was just a bitch to them and basically used Dorinda and Sonia for the photo op with the party planner, so that comes into play later. And while I don't love Dorinda this season, she has a point. I thought it was really crappy what Ramona did. And if we're talking about it now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you know, I've never been a big Ramona fan, but tonight, that sealed it for me. She's the worst. She really has such a crappy attitude and just really treats people like crap, from staff to just anywhere she goes. She's really crappy to people. I saw earlier, you know, we were talking about how Ramona seemed to be a little bit more reasonable this season. Well, it's all gone now. She's just using people and being awful, and we'll see it as we get into the episode. Curious to know your thoughts. Are you a Ramona fan? Do you feel like she makes the franchise? Do you want her out? Like, what are your thoughts? So, since everybody's pissed at Ramona, she has no choice but to film with this random lady. This is the matchmaker, and we see some of her greatest hits. It sounds like matchmaker arranged for Ramona to meet the red scarf guy and to meet this weirdo, where she had a very awkward date. So maybe not the right matchmaker for you. Just a thought. Then Sonia meets up with Elise. Sonia says that Ramona has a costume for her, and Elise says she was there for her emotionally, and Ramona has no need for her anymore because she doesn't have a jet or a yacht. And, you know, I don't care for Elise at all. She adds nothing to the series, but I get what she's saying. Ramona is a user, and it's so evident this episode. She's just terrible to her quote-unquote friends, and she just uses everybody, and if they can't offer her anything, she wants nothing to do with them. They talk about how apparently Ramona was being crappy to Elise, didn't want her to come out with some of the girls to go get drinks, and Elise had texted her that was BS. And Sonja's a mess this season, and we'll get into that later. But she has a good point. She says that Ramona's always running out to meet guys, never in the moment with them, and says she doesn't recognize Ramona right now. She's always trying to one-up us with her fake friends and her fake party. And Sonja says, you don't know how much dirt I have on Ramona I could hold over her, which is hilarious. And I really hope she spills the tea on that one. Then we have Dorinda. She's meeting up with her daughter, Hannah. They're having a nice lunch. I don't really have too much to add here. They talk a little bit about Richard. And Hannah does say some very nice things about Dorinda, which makes Dorinda tear up. They talk about, I guess, her birthday's coming up as well. So they're just planning a little lunch for her. Then we go over and have a nice moment with Leah and Rob and Keir having a nice family meal out. They have a place in Chinatown that they really enjoy going to. They kind of talk about, their relationship. They broke up 11 years ago. Neither one has moved on since then. Rob is very close to Leah's parents. Leah says that Rob is so much like her mother. So, it's interesting to see, her home life, her personal life, to see the people in her life. And, they seem like great parents. So that's cool that they can get along so well. Oh, you guys, then we have Luann. Okay, can we take a second here and talk about Luann? I thought she was already in her costume. I mean, what is happening here? What is this? Oh my gosh. Oh, it's hilarious. I don't mind the jacket. I don't love the jacket, but I don't mind the jacket. But that hat, what are we doing? Oh my gosh. She just has to be center of attention at all times. It's hilarious. Wow. So at the hotel next door to the party, Leah's there with the glam squad getting her hair and makeup done. And Luann comes over to meet up with her. In the meantime, again, asshole Ramona. So she goes with Missy, it's a whole thing. So as you know, Tom was married to Luann for about 30 minutes. And Missy was his ex-girlfriend, and Ramona's friends with her. Who knows? She's just, she's so selfish. She brought Missy to the party, to Luann's party, which is kind of crappy if you ask me, but whatever. It's not the worst thing she's ever done. Okay, let's get into Ramona's asshole-ish behavior. But first, hello. Do we see her costume? Isn't this a voodoo party? So you see her walking around. She's got this guy Ron with her, because of course she does. He looks like John Medessian, Dorinda's ex. It's supposed to be a voodoo party, but all I could think of is, my God, she looks like the evil queen from Disney. So sure enough, I went into my Google machine, typed in evil queen costume, and guess what popped up? Yep, her evil queen costume. So if you're interested in this look, it's $64. Okay, so again, she does what she wants, however she wants to do it. It's supposed to be voodoo, comes as the evil queen. That sounds right, actually. That tracks. Okay, so Ramona gets to the party at 7:30 with her weird friend and her weird whatever guy that she calls him baby at one point. She calls up Lou and is like, hey, where are you, Lou? And Lou says, yeah, it's at 8:30, not 7:30. And Ramona says she did a group text. Hey, everybody, let's start early at 7:30. And then decides in her mind that's what time it starts. So she's surprised when nobody else is there. And she says it's because another male friend of hers has a private table at a place downtown. That's such a bitch move. I just think that's so rude. Just don't even come then. What's the point? It's just silly, just to make an appearance. That's really stupid. You either film or you don't. She's half in, half out. She's awful. Can you tell I don't like Ramona? Okay, so moving on. Then we get in the car, and it's Dorinda, Elise, and Sonja Holy cow. Can we talk about Sonja for a minute? Sonja is a train wreck. And I'm trying to be careful not to talk about somebody else's drinking, but holy shit. I mean, this is wild. She is beyond wasted. And it wouldn't be a big deal if this is a one-time thing, but clearly it's not. She is a train wreck this season, and it pains me to say that because I really like Sonja. I think she's so much fun, but oh my god, it's hard to watch. So Sonja is completely trashed. Sonja tells the other ladies that she's just over Ramona, and she's really upset with her, and it sounds like everybody is. Sonja's carrying a voodoo doll and saying over and over, "In your ear and in your rear, Ramona." I thought that was pretty good. And then we go back to Ramona, who is like in a contest with herself to see if she can be the biggest asshole that ever lived. And she's winning because she's talking to this guy, Andrew, and they're laughing and joking. And she says to him, "Where did you get this paunch from?" while grabbing on it and saying how real it feels. And he's shocked and kind of nervously laughing and saying it's that he's in love, but it's just his stomach. And Ramona just has no awareness. To me, it's the same as asking a woman about her pregnancy if you're not 100% sure. Like, you just don't do that. That's so wrong. And to camera, she says, "Oh, it's his gut. Oh, shit. Oops. Yeah, okay. You're a terrible person." So then we go back to where Lou and Leah are getting ready, and Jill walks in. And Jill's fiance, Gary. So I did a little digging on Gary because I was very curious. I didn't know they were engaged. I knew she had a boyfriend. Did you know that they were engaged? I didn't. So I Googled it, and his name is Gary Brody, and it sounds like he works in fashion. He's the owner and president of something called Marcraft Apparel Group. And here's what we all wanted to know. How much is he worth? Supposedly $25 million. Wow. Okay, good for you, Jill. I did try to look up any details on her engagement ring. Couldn't find anything, so very curious. Okay, so back to the shit show that is Ramona. Sonja is just wasted and says that the voodoo doll is Ramona. She says she's mad at Ramona because every time I talk, you bring it back to you. And this is what I've been saying for years. That's exactly what Ramona does. Sonja is hitting her voodoo doll. She says, "I do love you, bitch, but you're an ass." Ramona fake apologizes. Dorinda says, "Oh, it's the apologizer who fake apologizes." Ramona tells her to stay out of it. Sonja talks about Elise and says, "What about her? You put her at the end of the table of any event, and you ignore her like she's the bottom of the totem pole." Elise says, "I do feel that way. Why do you do that?" And then she says, "There are those that will knock you down when you're on top, and there are those that will celebrate you. Which friend am I to you?" Ramona is just ignoring her and messing with her costume. Ramona says Elise was just jumping on the bandwagon, and Ramona walks away. Oh, Ramona, you're the worst. You're just such a bitch to everybody, and you can't take the heat when they call you out on it. So Dorinda and Ramona go and talk. Dorinda brings up that weird meeting that Ramona made them have with the party planner. Ramona says that Dorinda and Sonja are most important to her in a faux whisper. Dorinda to camera says, "I don't buy it." Dorinda tells Ramona she should celebrate Sonja as well. And Dorinda says it's just getting silly. Ramona to camera says, "Dorinda always says it's silly when I throw a party because she has no one to invite. I literally have 80 girlfriends, and there's a reason for it." Oh, it's such a bitch thing to say. Last week it was 60. Now it's 80. Okay, Ramona. I'm sure they're all your really close girlfriends. Then Lou arrives with Leah and Rob, and they're talking to everybody. Lou immediately picks up on how drunk Sonja is because, well, how could you not? Ramona is doing her weird phoniness. Ramona's being overly friendly with Leah, and it reminds me, was it Heather Thompson, I think, that says Ramona can't fight with more than one person at a time, and that's exactly what's happening here. She's trying to buddy up to Leah because she realizes nobody else likes her. In the meantime, Sonia is just wasted. Sonia is saying that Leah is a weirdo, and then they're kind of all over each other. They're going back and forth, but they seem like they're on friendly terms. It's just that Sonia's wasted. Leah says she understands her. Ramona's venting to her friend about Dorinda being Jekyll and Hyde and being bipolar. Dorinda's venting to Lou. Lou's pissed about Ramona bringing Missy, who's Tom's ex-girlfriend. Lou says she's so insensitive. And then the shit hits the fan because Dorinda decides to get up and make a toast. Dorinda stands up and bangs on her glass and says to the table, "Do you think it's nice if you say something that they don't like, they say right away, 'Are you drunk?'" That's exactly what she said. Because they can't stand it and they walk out. She's been here for an hour and boozing it up, and it's rude and mean, and you try to get happiness out of other people failing. Sonia says, "Why did you do that, Ramona? You're terrible to me." I was awkward and weird, and I don't think Dorinda needed to do that. Lou says she feels sorry for Ramona, and Elise goes over to be nice and check on Ramona, and Ramona's being such a bitch to her. She says, "I have enough to deal with right now." And at the same time, she's doing her talking head, and you got Avery walking through in the background saying, "Mom, stop wasting your energy talking about Elise. This is so dumb." I'm sorry, Avery's a spoiled bitch, too. I mean, the apple does not fall far from that tree. And normally I leave the kids out, but Avery's in her 20s. She inserted herself, so I feel like it's fair game. I think this is ridiculous. I'd be just as mad if one of the husbands did it. You know, this is dumb. Anyway, so that wraps up the crazy ass party. I know this sounded like a Ramona vent fest. I didn't mean for it to be, but it's just how I'm feeling. I'm really just not happy with Ramona right now. Very curious to see what your thoughts are. Am I way out there on my own? Do you feel it too? What are your thoughts? Anyway, so we get a flash to next week. We have Ramona and Lou talking about what happened. We're at Bluestone Manor. Luann is humping the shark from the fish room she previously threw a fit in. They're talking about Ramona blocking Elise on social media. They get into an argument. Lou tells Ramona to shut the F up when Ramona asks Lou if she's going to pay Sonia for doing a show together. And then Lou tells Sonia, "I don't need you. Go F yourself." Woo! So that should be really interesting. I'm very excited to see what the heck happens during that episode. And I love Leah's face here. That's really funny. So that is it for the episode. Leave me comments. Tell me your thoughts. What did you think? Are you glad to have him back? Are you enjoying the season? What do you think? Do you think Ramona's as big of an ass as I do? What are your thoughts? So I'm covering Real Housewives of New York. Guys, I'm doing Potomac. I'm doing last season recaps because season 5 is about to come out. So please go back and watch my season 4 recaps to get ready for season 5. I'm trying to get those out. And I do Real Housewives of Beverly Hills as well as Below Deck Med. So check all those out. I'm at Real Recaps on Twitter. And I thank you so much for watching. Please click that subscribe button. And just thank you for everything. Have a great night. And happy 4th of July. Bye-bye.